So when we embark on the journey of intentional celibacy, it's really nice to understand that this is the path back towards true confidence. A confidence that's created from within yourself. It's not dependent or reliant on anything outside of you, on another person, a circumstance, on money, on anything. It comes from inside. It's coming from your connection to God and to yourself. And in this process of celibacy and being to yourself, one of the best practices that you can do is closing your eyes and feeling your beauty. No need to see it, no need to look in the mirror, but you feel it. As you breathe into your magnificent vessel that houses your spirit, that houses your consciousness, that's where you feel your beauty. Feel it in your connection to yourself. And the more that you work through your mind and you make your mind a beautiful place and you have the good lifestyle choices and you treat yourself well, you take care of your mind, your body, and spirit, you will begin to feel your beauty. It's not so much about the physical anymore. Of course, the physical is amazing. I love taking care of myself. I love looking sexy. I love looking beautiful, but that's secondary. My first form of beauty, my first place that I love and I cherish the most is my inner world. It's my mind and my spirit. And the more that I work on and I master those aspects of my mind and my spirit, the more naturally confident I become because I start to understand the truth of life. That is where real confidence comes from. You'll start to look at life differently. You'll start to look at other people differently. You'll start to look at men differently. You'll start to look at relationships differently. Everything changes when you change your internal world. You actually begin to stop craving the things that you once did because you start to realize a lot of those things were rooted in self-sabotage. They're rooted in insecurity. They're rooted in not enoughness. They're rooted in a belief that came from society and not from yourself. As you deepen in your journey of celibacy, you start to remove your worth from the amount of male attention that you get, especially sexual male attention, because that's a very low level form of human connection. Especially as a collective, as we rise in consciousness, there's more technology, we're deeper in creation, we're doing more things. The energy of lust is just, it's kind of weak. I can't lie. You'll start to notice that a lot of people, they have a lot of sex and they're overly sexual and they're constantly sleeping with different people simply because they're lacking inside. Everyone has their poison of choice, and for a lot of people, they don't realize that being overly sexual and feeding off sexual energy, it can be a form of unconsciousness, form of insecurity, it could be a form of instant gratification, all of these things that are kind of rooted in lack. And the more that you fill up your spirit, the more that you purify your mind, the more that you start to really take care of yourself, the less that you get pleasure from these low-level forms of pleasure. Your conception of pleasure changes. What really starts to fulfill you becomes spiritual growth, divine partnership, life purpose, giving back to the world, being of service. These things are what give you pleasure. These things are what give you gratification. Not some guy hollering at you on the street or sliding into your DMs. You actually start to get very disrespected by that. Like, I get disgusted now when men like look at me in a gross way or they come up to me in a way that's disrespectful. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know the type of women that you're approaching right now and you're gonna come at me like that? No. And I call men out because we need men to do better. We need men to start rising into their higher purpose and getting out of their animalistic mind and treating women better. And women need to treat themselves better. I feel like so many women put up with so much shit because they're so insecure that they can't call men out on their bullshit. I feel like a lot of women are afraid to call men out because they're afraid to not get attention anymore. They're afraid to upset a man because maybe he won't like them anymore. Who gives a fuck? Like yourself, love yourself. Love yourself enough to not need the love of another person to feel validated, loved, and like you're enough. And I can't lie, I be sexually frustrated at times. I have a very high sex drive because I am an energetic person. I have a lot of creative energy, mental energy, physical energy. And that's just character traits that I have in myself. So of course I get frustrated, but I channel that energy into creation. I'm posting one YouTube video a day, okay? I don't think I would be doing that if I was having a bunch of sex. I'm channeling my energy into my purpose, into my creation. And this feels so much better because this is connected to my life purpose. Having sex with like a good looking guy is not really connected to my life purpose, especially if that's not my husband and I'm not having kids with him, there's no purpose. So some things that have really helped me to channel that sexual energy is being very intentional with my day and creating a productive, fulfilling schedule. Beginning with the morning routine that's rooted in personal development. And I do these 3 things non-negotiable. I read, journal, and meditate, and I go to the gym 5 days a week. The gym is absolutely necessary, especially if you are someone that has a high sex drive, because you need to channel that energy. And you might as well do it in the gym and get sexy. And I always listen to things that feed my mind or listen to music with no words. Because in this journey of me being celibate, I'm rewiring everything. I am coming back to my true self fully this time. There's no more running from myself. There's no more looking for an outside savior. There's no more looking for a man to fulfill me. I'm over it. I've done that in the past and I realized it just kept me going in circles. And another incredible tip is just listening to self-love affirmations. You have to shower yourself with love. You have to become your source of love and you have to feel it. Because remember, we're pulling away from our need to get that love from outside. We're pulling away from our need to get it from that physical touch from a man, or from a man giving us gifts or money, or doing all those things that feel so good. We no longer are depending and needing on that. We are turning our attention, our energy, our gaze back towards ourself. We are finding ourself. We are creating genuine, unconditional love within ourselves, because it's in that process where you then eventually align with your soulmate, the man who will meet your needs, who will help you rise into your higher self, who will show you genuine, unconditional love, who respects you, who does things without you having to ask, who's living in his purpose, who can provide for you financially, spiritually, emotionally. All those beautiful things come when you do the work on yourself. When you're single and celibate, that is the time to do your shadow work. That is a time to see yourself, because all the time that we spend in relationships or constantly going out to the club and partying, so much distraction there. There's so much noise and fun and pleasure that's pulling you away from that inward reflection, from actually seeing the truth of your life, realizing the things that you need to heal and work on. So when you're in this season of celibacy, do your shadow work. Take time every day to self-reflect, check in with yourself. What am I doing well with? What's challenging me? What are my patterns? What are the things that I'm constantly looping in my mind that are negative? Like you have to start to get clear on your shadows, get clear on your blockages, get clear on the places you need to work on, and then do the work. Because the more you work on your shadow, the more light you become. And everybody loves the light. The more you work on your shadow, the more you will enjoy your own company, because your mind becomes a beautiful, amazing, peaceful place. I talk to myself all day long. That has been a practice of my own shadow work. Instead of getting so caught in my head with these negative stories and just replaying things of the past, I talk out loud. Because when you talk out loud, you're much more aware of what you're saying and what you're doing. So I'm just constantly changing that inner dialogue and making it one of beauty, of positivity. I make myself laugh. I talk about my day. I'm constantly in self-reflection, because I'm making sure that my mental story, my vibration, my thoughts, my feelings are all in alignment with progression, with love, with truth, with the creation of my desired reality. And one last thing that has really helped me in my journey of celibacy has just been going to church and deepening my relationship with Christ and with God, and realizing that I love viewing Jesus and God as the male figure that I should be yearning for. I want the attention of God because I want the truth. I no longer want to be distracted by this world and the cycles of suffering and all of the illusion and all of the lostness. The majority of people are lost in this world. So why try to become a part of it? Why get stuck in the cycles of what everyone else is doing in order to feel loved, in order to fit in order to fill their void? Especially because everything that people are doing nowadays is just keeping them in a cycle of unconsciousness. And I know that the more I turn my attention to God and to Jesus, the more my consciousness will awaken. The more I'll start to take away my attention from this world and the distractions and put it back towards the truth, back towards my purpose, back towards the light. I'll do what I came to do here on this earth, because there's nothing more fulfilling than that. At the end of the day, we are more than our gender. You're not just a woman, you're not just a man, you are a divine being. You are so much more than that. You have so much more to offer the world and yourself, but you have to realize that. You have to realize that a lot of those forms of attention and pleasure, they're empty. They're gonna leave you wanting more. They're gonna leave you constantly hungry. People will literally become obsessed with you the more inner work you do, because your vibration is addictive. It's so beautiful, it's so divine. There's not a lot of that in this world. So when people get a taste of it, boy. So if you really want to be sexy and confident, do the inner work, because that's the most attractive thing that you can ever do. The more attracted you become to yourself, the less you allow and put up with bullshit from this world, from disrespect and the bare minimum of the opposite gender. Like, you stop putting up with the bullshit because you start to realize the truth of your worth beyond the physical body, beyond the flesh. You start to realize the worth of your spirit. So feel that, know that, be that, and do the work you need to do. Being consciously celibate is a beautiful act of rebellion to this modern day society, this instant gratification world where a lot of people are so lost. So do the work you need to do. I'm right there with you, girl. Keep being sexy, keep doing the inner work, keep shining that light. I love you. Much love, many blessings.